What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, a.k.a. the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day.
Oh, Free Comic Book Day. Free
Coming
Comic Book Day is creeping back on us. Well, kind of. It's still a ways off.
Yeah.
But some announcements are coming.
The exciting part.
You're right.
Short of the event itself. So we're announcing the books next week, which is incredibly exciting. We'll be announcing the gold titles on the 15th, which is Tuesday, and then the full list of titles on the 17th, which is Thursday. I have to point out, we're a month earlier than we normally are. It's
Yeah, I was about to say, it feels early.
Around December we do
right,
this.
Okay, gotcha.
We made the books available for retailers to order a month early. They'll be in the December catalog to kind of offset some of the supply chain issues that created some problems last year.
Okay.
So we're trying to get ahead of that. Which works out for you guys because that means you get to see all the books a month earlier than you normally would. And speaking of seeing books early, Marvel kind of got a little excited, jumped the gun on us. So I just want to point out their books. They have 4 books this year. They got 2 gold and 2 silver, so their gold titles will be Amazing Spider-Man, Venom, and Avengers X-Men. So that's 2 separate books, 4 stories, 2 books. And then their silver books will be Spidey and His Amazing Friends #1 and Marvel Voices #1.
Oh, a little throwback there with Spidey and His Amazing Friends. I wonder if that's an original or not. I don't know.
I don't either.
Find out.
I guess we'll find out. And also, while we're talking about this, I really quickly want to point out the difference between gold and silver because some folks get confused around the announcement times. We use that language a lot. And
Can I answer?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They're free.
That's true. That is true. But if you're a stickler for it, it's really just a matter of like, you're guaranteed to see a gold book because it's kind of like the ordering minimum is you need all of the gold books to be a participating shop. Yeah. And then the silver, you can order as many or as few as you want. So it's really just a way we track orders.
Right, yeah. That means more for you in some ways, right?
Pretty much.
So, okay. No, I get it. Ashton, I heard that you're becoming a millennial stereotype. You're watching the anime now.
The anime. I'm watching the anime. It's true.
What is going on? How did this happen?
So my cousin is a big anime fan, big manga fan. Like she loves it all. Like her main jam is Naruto.
Okay.
But like I was talking to her recently, I was telling her like, you know, the kind of comics and stuff I like to read, and she goes, "You would love Oran Host Club." And I was like, all right, I'm gonna try it. She was right, I do. I love it. I love Oran now. Nice. I'm obsessed with it, and I'm as someone who loves the tropes and the ships and all of that. I've been watching the show, and I'm like, is this show making fun of me as a fangirl? And so I like quickly Googled it, and it is. It is.
Oh, it actually is.
It totally is like poking fun at like shipping culture and fangirls and stuff, and I love it.
Okay, you know what? Maybe. Okay, you said Oran High School, and I definitely am thinking of a different book then, because I was thinking of something that's like kind of more like a supernatural teenage thing.
Nope, it's set in a high school, like mega rich high school, and the main character's like poor, and she joins the host club to make up for this debt that she owes for breaking their things.
Okay.
And all of the hosts, all of the guys in the host club are kind of like different stereotypes of like male lead characters.
Okay. All right, so this really is up your alley.
Yes.
This is very much. All right, do you think this is going to be a gateway because anime is a slippery slope. Like,
it is, and she immediately was like, well, I told her I was really liking it. She's like, well, if you like that, you should also watch Fruits Basket. It's on Hulu. And I was like, okay, you got it. So
Fruits Basket's kind of a classic, I guess, now at this point. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Oran is too.
Yeah, actually, now I think about it, because that was definitely a book that was coming out when I was working in the comic shop. So that absolutely makes sense. No, any chance that we'll graduate you to prison school? At some point in time?
Tell me about prison school. You mention it on the show in passing, but you've never talked about your love for prison school.
I've done a whole video about prison school, which made Johnny very nervous because of the amount of things he had to edit around in terms of graphics. It is teenage drama.
Sure.
It's the cringe level is addictive.
Okay, great.
Like if I had to defend myself, I'd say it's not all the soft, etchy stuff. It's the cringe level.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
it's like the cringe level because there's just so many elements in this story where you're like, oh, dude, don't do that. Oh, no, don't go over there. No, don't say that to her. Just a lot of that. And it's suspenseful in a way that is not obvious. Like, I actually said this. It's got some of the best cliffhangers in any comic I've ever read without there being any real, action.
Okay.
So, yeah, but... Yeah, careful, Ashton. Slippery slope.
Yeah,
Anime is a slippery slope. You
I have
start
a bit
off-
of an obsessive personality too.
You're right.
So.
It's a slippery slope. I'm telling you, like it's going to be Tenchi Muyo in love one day, and the next hentai and ecchi. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, damn. That got out of hand quick.
They got out of hand quick. That's what happens. I'm just telling you. Those are the rules. I didn't make them up.
It's true.
All right, let's get.
We
into
have some comments.
Oh yeah, let's do some comments. Sorry, I always forget about the comments, guys. I'm sorry. What's going on here?
Let's see here. As always, our good friend Annie Fox is saying hi.
Hey Annie, what's
What's up, Annie?
Happy to see you as always.
I love that Annie has a fox in her
from,
her tag.
are you just now realizing that?
No, I've always seen that.
Okay.
I just couldn't forget to mention it.
And from Facebook, Michael is saying Cavill Superman, at least in the Snyder movies, is certainly the most accurate to the modern age version.
Ooh, oh,
That's
hot
kind of
caking
a hot
right
take,
away.
Michael, I don't know. We're gonna get into that.
We
actually.
got some Superman discussion queued up for later.
Yeah, we do. And like, I want you to follow up with that, Michael. So definitely say, let us know in the comments, because when we get back to that topic later in the show, I want you to unpack that for us. Let us know why you said that, because I don't necessarily agree. I agree, but I don't.
Okay.
I guess it really depends on his modern interpretation. So we'll get to that. All right, it is Wednesday. It is New Comic Book Day. And so I've heard. So let's get into our picks this week, and then we'll show you also some toys that are available. Let's go. I'm gonna go first because I wrote a segue into yours, to your pick.
Okay, I don't know why that became an Owen Wilson impression, but it
Let's
did.
go Owen Wilson, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So Kaya and Starhenge are out this week. I got to point that out, right? Because
Okay.
those were my previous
Yeah.
picks. But Wakanda Forever is in theaters on Friday/Thursday, depending on how early you catch your Marvel movies. And so I'm in the mood for some Black Panther. There's a new book by Brian Edward Hill and Alberto Fauché. I made it sound fancier because I don't know if I'm actually pronouncing it right.
When in
That's
doubt.
usually what I do when I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's called Black Panther Unconquered. And a few things I like about this. Unconquered in the title, I'm just speculating, but likely plays off the idea that Wakanda has been unconquered, which has been a huge part of the mystique of Wakanda within the Marvel universe, right?
Sure.
Like no one, British colonials have tried, other superheroes have tried. I think even at one point the CIA has tried at one point in time. There's just been various things, and they've tried to conquer Wakanda, and it has not happened. So I actually love that because that plays off of that idea. I also like the Brian Edward Hill's writing because he's a really good writer. He's done some really cool stuff, like a book called Romulus. He did a great Killmonger series like not too long ago, which went in a direction that was very unexpected, but also like really fun to read for that character. Also, I got to point out the art in the Marvel books lately. Good
or bad?
Quietly,
All right.
quietly, like about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it was kind of like Marvel. Come on. This is the house of Jack Kirby.
Oh my God.
The house of Jim Lee. The house of you know what I mean? Like Brian Hitch. Come on.
Be respectful.
Bring the A game, guys. And it was looking a little sketchy for a bit. The last year or so, I want to say probably the last year, they had been swinging for the fences. And like some of it I'll give credit to the South American artists and the Italian artists that they've been hiring lately because they are unbeatable in a lot of categories.
Yeah.
But Alberto Fauché, he's in this tradition. He's actually been doing a really great job. The artwork in the preview pages looks phenomenal. So yeah, also the other thing I like about that, it's a one-shot. Which I think is ideal for anyone coming to Comic Shop this week, right? Because the movie's out. So you get a T'Challa and Shuri action drama that is satisfying in one read. The older I get, the more I appreciate the one-shots, and it promises a new challenger to Wakanda that is unlike anything they've ever experienced before, which is very vague.
I feel like Marvel's always saying that.
It's like this kind of Marvel's go-to.
The most epic thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, the word epic is actually used in it's actually used in the description. It's very vague, but you know what? Just off of that alone, I'm into it. I'm curious about the book. Marvel's kind of on a roll right now with concurrent Kate, right?
Nice.
And this is a great team, so check it out. Black Panther Unconquered in comic shops today, and this is my segue that I wanted to use. It's not even a great segue, and I just told you it was a segue, so it doesn't even work. But just off the title alone for your book, I want to know what this is.
Yeah. That's what got me too. So like every couple weeks, I'll pick something that is just so bonkers. Like I will know nothing about it, and like the cover art will be crazy, or like the title will be crazy enough that I'll click on it, like going through the new releases page and like, what is this? Like, just my curiosity alone has sold me on this. So my pick this week is Killcella #1.
Right.
I love it.
Yes.
So it focuses on a group of friends from LA that go out to celebrate Coachella. And kind of the headliner of Coachella this year is this reclusive pop star. She's making her comeback after 5 years of kind of being in hiding, not, you know, being seen, not making music, not really being heard from at all. But it goes left immediately. She recruits a bunch of her most fanatical fans to help her carry out a human sacrifice ritual during her headlining performance, which is just crazy enough to work. I think it's interesting, right? Like, this cult of fandom is just like, fandom has gotten so just over the top lately that this makes sense. And also the 5 years, like, reclusive pop star, like, low-key feels like a Taylor Swift jab. I'm not sure if that's meant to be that way.
Interesting, okay, all right.
But, because she did have a period where, like, nobody physically saw her, nobody heard from her, she wasn't making music. And...
Did she just do, like, a surprise drop recently or something like that?
I wouldn't call it a surprise drop, but she did release an album.
Okay, I'm not up on my T-Swift. I just kind of see things on Twitter every now and then. And I know that people call her T-Swift.
Yeah, you're right on the money.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but that's it. I just think it's an interesting, like, the idea of cult of fandom is fascinating to me. And, like, especially as it pertains to Taylor Swift, like, a lot of people were joking on TikTok about, like, oh, she's just like, she's this close to just sacrificing a man during one of her shows. And, like, I know it's a joke, but, like, also, is it? Like,
I mean, I was aware of the Tom Hiddleston drama at one point in time, so I could totally see that.
It's more of her short-lived drama. There's bigger ones.
Yeah, that's fair. I also love the cover, like, with the rose crown with the axe in her hand.
Ferris wheel,
Ferris wheel. I did not catch this when I was, like, scrolling through PREVIEWsworld.com/new releases. But this caught my attention too, and now I'm very curious what
Me too. Like, I need to know what this is gonna be.
Absolutely.
It's just messy. And also, like, I just think, I don't want to get too in the weeds, but, like, the cult of fandom partnered with, like, celebrities that are completely willing to capitalize on that scares me deeply, right? Like, the first thing that comes to mind is the whole Astroworld fiasco.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, yeah.
And I wonder if this will be, not, I don't want to say similar, but, like, that same kind of celebrity that's willing to capitalize on the, like, I can do anything and get away with it mentality.
Now it makes me wonder if this is a response to that. I mean, I can't. Astroworld was this year, right? Wasn't it early this year? Like, early this year.
Yes.
Okay, so you can make a comic book in that time.
Yeah.
And that could be a fun examination, actually. So, all right, yeah, I'm actually going to pick this up now because like I said, totally glossed over it, but then I came back to it when you told us what your pick was in our production meeting. So. Actually, speaking of books that are, actually.
Never mind. No books. Yes, books.
Actually, which one are we doing first, Johnny?
No books.
Are we doing Toy Chest or are we doing the trailer? Toy Chest first. Okay, so we're gonna do Toy Chest first, and then I'm gonna save my, like, beautiful segue for after that.
So far, none of these segues have been that beautiful.
None of them have worked. That's okay. We're gonna show you Toy Chest and then a trailer, and then I'll come back and explain myself. Goodbye.
Hey everyone, Natasha here, and I'm going to give you a look at some of the new toys and collectibles in stores today. Here's your previous Toy Chest for the week of November 9th, 2022. That's not all. Before heading to your local comic shop, be sure to check out PREVIEWsworld.com/new releases. There you'll find a complete rundown of everything a toy collector could possibly want.
How I Became a Shoplifter, a year-by-year look at the final generation of juvenile delinquents before social media and smartphones took over our lives. Phil and Mitch are two ordinary suburban kids who will break any law, big or small, to get revenge on bullies and, hopefully impress some girls at school in the process. Take a nostalgic trip back to the 90s and early 2000s with 11 hilarious chapters drawn by 11 incredible art teams. Will our heroes survive high school without being thrown in prison or ending up dead? Find out in How I Became a Shoplifter.
Yeah, my segue is ruined, right? Because I was going to ask you, my segue was going to be, I'm just going to do it anyway. I was like, Ashton, were you a good kid? Did you not steal candy? Did you not get in trouble in school?
I didn't get in trouble in school. I did get in trouble in school. I was chatty.
Shocker. Right.
I didn't do a lot of stealing of things.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right.
But I did get in trouble in school for talking to my neighbor.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair. I definitely got in trouble for stealing Transformers stickers. Transformers, the movie stickers from Giant one time. So I kind of feel like this comic is actually for me. Okay, just real quick. Sumerian Comics, right? Mm-hmm. Formerly Behemoth Comics, mm-hmm. right? They now have attached themselves to the record label Sumerian Records, and so now they are officially Sumerian Comics, right? But they are still making some pretty awesome stuff. And How I Became a Shoplifter is one of them. We just right before we came back from the trailer, Ashton was like, "I would totally read that." And I was like, "Yeah, I would totally read this too." It looks very entertaining. It's not
so fun.
It's not anything I would it's not. I mean, it's definitely something I would typically read, but it's not like a superhero book or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just different enough, but it's also really interesting, And
mm-hmm.
I have this. I don't know. I have this weird fascination with juvenile delinquency. Although I've watched a few true crime dramas because of it, just to sort of like, what is this? There's this one about this kid who sold marijuana to all his friends and it was fake. I can't remember what it was called. Oh. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
That's a hustle.
Yeah, it was
That's
Netflix.
The ultimate hustle.
But yeah, just it looks cool. How I Became a Shoplifter from Sumerian Comics. I'm about to say Behemoth. The Sumerian Comics is available pre-order right now. It's in November catalog. Yeah, I kind of love this. I saw the trailer today, and I was like, oh. Well, I know this is going to be my pick when it comes out because the art's cool and I love the story. So,
and the trailer totally did its job for me.
It did.
It got my attention right away. I was like, "This looks fun. This looks exciting. I want to read it." And also the whole the last generation before smartphones.
Yeah, right.
That was super interesting because that was kind of maybe my younger cousins would be the cousin that recommended anime to me. It would probably be that generation, and I think that's really interesting because before smartphones were a thing, dude, anything. Anything goes.
You can get away with a lot more.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. So, yeah, check that out. Be sure to pre-order it. That's coming out in January. So, yeah, there you go.
Comments.
What's up, comments?
We have Annie saying it's cold. She's wrapped up in her thick, furry blanket.
Man,
okay.
Oh, God.
Fair enough.
I mean, as long as the blanket is just furry and not a furry.
Not a furry.
I mean...
You know what? I don't know. Annie's got the fox in her handle. Maybe she's into it.
Was it Crash or Sonic?
It's okay. You know what, Annie? Whatever. Right. Is it Crash or Sonic?
Or Tails.
Right. Or Tails, right.
Ubaldo saying, hello, everybody. They're running late today.
Hey, what's up, Ubaldo? We were running late today, too, so it's okay.
Yeah.
We started nearly 10 minutes late.
Yes, we did.
And
it was all on me.
Mystical Green Beanie being his usual troll self saying Troy's favorite Superman is Mullet Superman.
You know what? Hold on a second. I'm going to say something. So I called my shop, Alliance Comics and Games, to ask them ask them to add me to How I Became a Shoplifter.
Yeah.
I called them about 2 hours ago, and I thought Joaquin, Mystical Green Beanie, picked up, and he was like, I'm too busy, I gotta call you back. But you had time to leave a comment? Is that what you're doing? Anyway. All right.
And one more.
Who else we
Annie
got?
also saying that she got in trouble for skateboarding in the street in Kawasaki when she was 12.
Kawasaki. Okay,
Wow.
Annie's got a little. First of all, this is the second time she's mentioned skateboarding, I feel.
Yeah, it is.
In
When I picked the book about the football player.
Yeah.
She mentioned being a skateboarder then too.
Annie might be the most interesting person in the comments section.
You know what? I'm going to share this now because it's going to relate to my poll later, and it also involves being in trouble as a kid.
Okay.
Me and my brother got Heelys banned from the local grocery store when we were little for racing down the aisles.
Oh, really? Heelys? Oh, The shoes with the
Yeah.
wheels on them? Oh, okay, interesting.
We also got them banned from like 5 different stores in the mall, in addition to the grocery store.
Just by yourself?
Correct, that's correct.
You guys were menaces. You were a menace to society. She's like, we were having fun. There you
Public
go.
fun.
That's how it usually happens. All right, let's get into some news real quick. Actually, this is going to be not so fun, but oh man, yeah. God, I got actually 2 additions to this first article. Yeah, this is rough.
You said you have 2 additions?
2 additions. It's been a crazy week. Let's go ahead and do some news, and we'll try to lighten the mood a little bit more after we get through these first couple of news items.
News time.
Respect.
Respect.
All right, so I guess our first one here that will lead the charge in our string of negative news is Kevin O'Neill passed.
Yep.
So the British comic artist is most well known for co-creating the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen with Alan Moore. He was 69 when he passed. I didn't see any word on the reason of his passing.
No, I didn't either, actually.
So just to give some backstory and attempt to pay homage, he started working in the comics industry at 16, super young.
Yeah.
First as an office assistant for a children's humor comic called Buster, and eventually he moved into the sci-fi anthology 2000 AD, where he served both editorially and as an artist. And then he collaborated with Alan Moore. Initially, the first collaboration came in 1986. When they worked on DC's Tales of the Green Lantern Corps. He got in some trouble for that.
Yeah. I was going to elaborate on that because I thought that was a great story.
Yeah,
actually.
please, by all means.
Well, I'll wait until you're done. So
all right.
I'll come back to it.
So we'll circle back to that. And then he would reunite with Alan Moore in 1999, just 4 years later, to create the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which would become their ultimate claim to fame. And that actually, luckily, wrapped up last year.
Yes, it did, right? Yeah.
Just in time.
Yeah. Actually, now that makes me wonder if that was kind of
maybe he was sick.
They understood that, maybe he didn't have that much time, because the wrap up did kind of come out of nowhere. I remember actually to the point that I remember people going like, wait, this came out? You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot I saw a lot of that. It's like, wait, they finished it? Last year. So that's really interesting. All right, before I tell you the Green Lantern story, because it is a very amusing story, and it's a very short one, I also want to point out that Carlos Pacheco passed away at 61. He's known for a lot of Marvel work, I would say, particularly Avengers Forever. But yeah, that news dropped this morning, and then the other day, Daniel Belanati passed away, who's the inker of Fantastic Four and Captain America, like a long-standing inker of Captain America and Fantastic Four. Passed away at 76 this week as well. So, it's been a spotty week for comics.
Yeah.
Kind of a rough one, but I wanted to just kind of point that out. On a somewhat lighter note, Kevin O'Neill did a Green Lantern Corps story, like you said, with Alan Moore for DC Comics that got struck down by the Comics Code Authority, right? And so the story goes, now, first of all, what is the Comics Code Authority, right? So back in the 50s, we got to go back there real quick. Back in the 50s, comics got into a lot of trouble with the United States government, actually, for salacious material. Salacious. Part of that was, I don't have to get into all that, but and so the Comics Code Authority was a self-governing body of comic peoples, not just creators, but comic peoples, I'll say, that kind of created a rules for what can be featured, can and cannot be featured in a comic, right? And some was really goofy stuff, like there couldn't be supernatural characters because that would be considered demonic. There couldn't.
Stop.
Right. Yeah. Some of it was really goofy, right? And so jumping forward to this Green Lantern story, Kevin O'Neill did the story with Alan Moore, and DC Comics submitted it to the Comics Code Authority because that was part of the process. Comic Code Authority said absolutely not. And when they asked what was the problem with the story, they said it was just his artwork.
What?
They don't do. That's not part of the deal. They just said straight up, his art style was offensive.
That comment's offensive.
It is offensive, right? And this is why we don't have the Comics Code Authority anymore, because it's just stuff like that.
That's so completely subjective.
It's very subjective. But yeah, I just thought that was really a kind of a wild story, because I'm just like, the entire art style.
Just the whole damn thing.
You're
You're
right,
like, no.
Right, exactly.
Who gave you the authority?
Well,
the government.
The government. Well, yeah, I guess technically the government did, right? About
gave
30
you the
years
right?
Prior. But yeah, this is why we don't have the Comics Code Authority anymore, because it's just kind of silly.
This is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things. But yeah, I always have to say this, right? his work lives on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, people love the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen comic book. Not so much the movie, but people love the comic book.
I
and of
was not
course-
aware there even was a movie.
Oh yeah, it's got Sean Connery, and it's
Oh,
odd. It's odd.
okay.
It's not horrible, but it's not
Did you
good.
say it's odd?
It's odd. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just sort of like, okay, that's a weird choice. But yeah. So shout out to Kevin O'Neill. Shout out to Carlos Pacheco and Daniel Bulanati as well too,
Mm-hmm.
because like again, they've been immortalized in the pages of your favorite comic books, so they will live on. All right, let's talk about some Metallica.
Yes. All right. So Vault Comics has announced a new music-focused imprint called Headshell, and they'll be publishing graphic novels written by musicians or musical acts. And so Metallica is probably their largest one involved here, but they also have Def Leppard, the Beach Boys, Fall Out Boy's Pete Wentz, and plenty others on their list. The first title that will be released from this Headshell imprint is called Dying Inside. It's co-written by Pete Wentz and Hannah Klein. What else we got? Sony Music Publishing also confirmed the title of Def Leppard's graphic novel, which will be called Hysteria. So those are the two we know so far, Dying Inside and Hysteria. No news on what the Metallica graphic novel will be called, but I'm sure that will be coming shortly. So the idea here is that these stories would be inspired by their music and their careers,
Okay.
not so much as memoirs, but as like the narratives of their story, of their music as
I love
kind of
that
a
actually.
through line.
Yeah, that's
Right.
great. That's really good. Yeah, I prefer that actually. I'm gonna toot my own horn just for a second.
Do it. Let's hear
just
it.
because it made me think about this. I did an MF Doom comic last year after he passed away, and one of the things I struggled with when I was writing it was like, well, do I want to do something autobiographical, or do I want to tell the story of his lyrics? You know, and I just kind of found that more gratifying because in a way it is also autobiographical in its own weird way. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting, and shout out to Vault for making that decision because I think. Doing a memoir is kind of like, okay, whatever.
You can get on their Wikipedia page.
Right. At this point in time, it used to be that you would watch behind the music and you get all the little tidbits. Now you can just go to Wikipedia. I can't watch anything that's like a documentary now, kind of for that reason. Like I have this thing where I'm like, I'm watching it, and if it's too many episodes, then I'm like, I'm just going to go on Wikipedia. This is ridiculous. So anyway.
Attention span.
Attention span. Well, I just kind of always realize about halfway through, I'm like, they're dragging this out and they're trying to be suspenseful about this, and I can just go on Wikipedia and just read what happened.
Wow.
Like, it doesn't have to be like that. Sandman has got a second
Yes.
season. Now, you are a recent convert to the world of the Sandman universe, as DC likes to put it. How does that feel?
Oh God, I'm so excited. I'm so hyped. Oh man, 'cause the first season is, so the entire run is 75 issues.
Yeah.
The first season is only covers the first 20 issues. So there's so much more to happen. And the first season ends on a bit of a cliffhanger with Lucifer's doing some scheming to try and dethrone Dream. She's mad at him because he beat her in a battle in hell, which is a good reason to be mad. I'm so excited about it. I mean, there's so much more story to tell here. It's done so expertly, and as I've read through the comics, I am shocked by how closely it follows. Like, there's very little change, only in areas where they have to accommodate licensing and maybe their production value, but it's so similar to the comics, which I feel like is not frequently done and doesn't land all that well. This is fantastic. It's really well done. It's true to the source material. There's a ton of more stories to tell, and I'm excited for Neil Gaiman to get to do that.
Oh yeah, no, I saw a few people. I mentioned before, I've only read some of Sandman. I only read the first trade paperback, but I've definitely seen other people kind of underline what you just said, which is that, this is actually, I've seen people say this is a great argument for why you should let the creators handle the adaptations instead of like funneling it through, truthfully, like someone like DC Comics who would then funnel it through Warner Brothers, and then it would get, all these hands would end up touching it, right? So yeah, it's good to see that, like, something, especially something so complex as Sandman is getting like a faithful adaptation.
And also beloved, right? It's something that is very close to comic book readers' hearts.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of potential for that to go sideways and for a lot of people to get upset if it didn't get a good adaptation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of DC stuff, right? I saw the Black Adams.
The Black Adams.
Right.
And what'd you think? A lot of people been thinking good? Are you
It was
thinking
okay.
good?
It was okay.
Thinking all right.
It was okay. It was all right. I liked The Rock's always entertaining. Like
What is he? What is he called? Franchise Viagra?
Franchise Viagra, The Rock, aka The Rock, aka Dwayne Johnson, aka Franchise Viagra, is always entertaining. The thing I liked about it was I liked how it was unbothered with throwing you into the world. Like it literally just starts and you're just like, wait, what?
Good.
And I mean I appreciate that because I wasn't expecting it to be so tied to the existing DC movies.
Okay.
Which it very much is. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because I hadn't really been paying attention to it up until I started hearing the good reviews. But I just never expected it to be very much in line with, Justice League and Superman vs. Batman, the Wonder Woman movies, and the Suicide Squad. Very much the Suicide Squad. And yeah, it just kind of surprised me with that, which I appreciate. Because I don't really care for, even though I don't love all those movies, like I don't really care for them trying to constantly reboot it. I'm like, just push forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Just tell the story. And spoiler alert, underlining this, I don't know if you need to put something underneath here, Johnny, like a little spoiler alert thing. Do we still have that anymore?
We have that anymore.
Okay, maybe we don't have it anymore. Spoiler alert.
Hold up a something.
Spoiler alert. I don't have anything, but spoiler alert.
I could probably just mute you, and you could just use really, big hand gestures.
Oh, big hand.
Do an interpretive dance.
Well, I don't think that's going to work here because I'm not talking about I'm talking about the plot, but it's particularly one thing that actually we have to talk about. So.
Oh yeah, we did say we were going to talk about it. It is the thumbnail.
It is the thumbnail for this show. Henry Cavill back as Superman,
He's
and I mean
back
it's
at
been
it.
in all the Hollywood Reporter. Everybody's been reporting on it, talking about this for like the last couple of weeks. I saw the movie like 2 weeks after it came out, and as soon as the movie came out, everyone was like, "The Rock got Henry Cavill to come back as Superman."
Right.
And I had some thoughts about that after I saw him because I never given much consideration to Henry Cavill as Superman for a while.
Okay.
And then when I saw him pop back up into this movie, I was like, actually, yeah, okay, all right, I'm into it.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do with he's not my favorite Superman, but he's kind of like the most authoritative one.
Yeah, I mean, I told you this yesterday. I don't know. In my opinion, I don't think there is an actor alive right now working that would be a better Superman than Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
In terms of like the way he looks, he's physically imposing. He's committed to the role. Like he wants to be Superman. He's interested in being Superman. Like it just. He could not look more like Clark Kent if they were actively trying to do that.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. And I kind of had that moment too. I was like, you know what? Yeah, don't recast him.
No.
Like, he really did have a really good Superman. He only got one movie, and I don't love the movie. I know some people do.
Yeah.
But I do also feel like that it was kind of a crime that he hasn't been able to do more with that character. So yeah, like I'm kind of into that. Like, and like I mentioned, I feel like he's probably the most authoritative. Like Christopher Reeve, who's still my favorite, right? Is kind of like the nice guy Superman.
Okay,
like,
sure. Which is a side of Superman.
Which is a side of Superman, and Henry Cavill is just more like a bit of a firmer Superman. Like, he's not overly intimidating, but he is intimidating, which is necessary.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
you also need that side of him as well. So yeah, I'm into it. I feel it. I'm into it. Actually, did we get any follow up on those comments, Johnny?
Oh, did Michael explain why he thinks the Superman's the best Superman? I can barely remember what the initial comment was.
Johnny's scrolling, but
yeah, we have a couple coming in. They haven't propagated into the switcher right now, but well, first of all, Balda did say earlier, sad, another great artist lost.
Yeah, thank you, Baldo. Yep.
Oh, here we go. Someone on our close to our team, Emily Hunter, saying, "But we're mourning Henry Cavill as Geralt."
That's true. He was so good in The Witcher. Granted, I've only seen the first season, but
I never watched it, but I definitely heard you could hear like a million fangirls just scream out at once they realized they weren't getting him as Geralt anymore. I feel you. Like, it's too bad. That's for sure.
Annie Fox saying he makes a great Sherlock Holmes.
I keep hearing that Enola Holmes is like fantastic.
He's in Sherlock Holmes?
He's in Enola Holmes.
Oh,
it's
okay.
basically with Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things.
Yeah, which actually is a comic book. Actually, a graphic novel.
It is it not? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, actually, I didn't know that. I had no idea he was on that show. Okay, wow, all right.
Second one just came out, and I felt like I was seeing it all over my Instagram page, and everyone loved it.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a good actor. Like,
He
he's
is.
legit a good actor. Like, I think it was not, truthfully, it wasn't until The Man from U.N.C.L.E. That I was kind of like, oh, Henry Cavill's a good actor. Actually, I guess he's always been a good actor. Like, everything I've seen him in, he's been very solid
I
in.
wonder if, like, the Nice Guys, I feel like the Nice Guys finished last. Like, he just gives, like, good guy vibes.
He does.
So I wonder if people forget about him for that reason.
There's a great a YouTube video that I've seen in my feed too many
I'm
times.
nervous now.
Just because I've seen it too many times, just because I follow a lot of superhero stuff, like of just oh god, I can't remember the actress's name who played Lois Lane right now. Oh man, I can't remember her name. She's a redhead. I can't remember her name. Johnny, if you can remember, tell me.
Wait, you talking about Lois Lane?
Yeah, Lois Lane.
Amy Adams?
Amy Adams. There you go. Jeez.
Oh, okay.
It's of just awkward, thirsty moments of Amy Adams next to Henry Cavill.
No. Oh my God, so relatable.
And it's very interesting because, to your point about him being a good guy,
Yeah.
right? He's just kind of like, oh, okay.
He's such a nice guy. He's so respectful and awkward. Sometimes he's very awkward in interviews.
And apparently he's a big, was it I think he's a big D&D fan.
He is.
Yeah, right.
I
yeah.
learned that like recently when The Rock posted the video of like, oh, Henry Cavill's coming back. Everyone was in the comments talking about his nerd cred. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. He's got some serious nerd cred. So, you know what? Whatever. I'm into it. Henry Cavill's cool. He was awesome in Rogue Nation. Was it Rogue Nation? No, it wasn't Rogue Nation. Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout, beating up on Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah.
Kicking Tom Cruise's ass. Oh, yeah. He's cool. I like him. It's great.
More
all right.
comments.
More comments?
Ubald is just agreeing with Emily about him being a great Geralt.
It says agree.
I agree.
I said agree.
Oh, I thought you said disagree.
No, I said agree. Okay. Sorry.
Never mind. Just ignore me.
Mystical Green Beanie's back.
Oh, God.
I rate Superman by the Midwestern accents, and Henry has the best so far.
That's a very specific barometer, but I mean, I'm not upset about
I'm
it.
not upset about it. That's fair. That's good.
And see, Stan is saying he loves The Witcher far too much to ever be happy about Cavill leaving to go back to Superman.
Oof, man. Everybody's not going to be happy.
I mean,
blame The Rock.
The reports are saying that Liam Hemsworth is going to be.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Give us the fangirl.
The fangirl take. Oh no. You know what? He's the lesser of the Hemsworths, in my opinion.
Oof. Okay.
That might be a hot take. I don't know. I don't think he's a bad actor by any means. I think he's been dealt kind of difficult scripts to work with in terms of the work that he's done. So I don't know that I can say much to his acting ability. Is he cute? Sure. Is he a big guy? Yeah, he's not as big as Henry Cavill, so will he be as physically imposing? I don't know. Maybe he'll need to bulk up.
Okay, interesting. All right. You got work to do, Liam. You got some big shoes to fill.
Hit the gym.
You got to hit the gym and make all the girls swoon.
Another one. Let me prop this up. Ooh,
What we got here?
Marty Grosser.
Hi, Marty.
Hey, Marty.
Henry Cavill is the perfect villain in Mission Impossible Fallout with his shotgun pump punch.
Literally, when I think of him in Mission Impossible Fallout, when I said that, the first thing I saw was just like pumping his arms before he starts fighting Tom Cruise in the bathroom. So yes, I agree. You know what? I think I'm a fan of Henry Cavill. This conversation made me realize I do like Henry Cavill.
You're a fan.
We're fans of him. Yeah.
Another convert.
Another convert. There you go. You got converted to Sandman. I become part of the Cavill tribe. I probably don't love him nearly as much as some other people in that tribe, but still, I'm a fan. So there you go.
It's important to have a populous tribe.
You know, it's fine. Let's get into some Hake stuff real quick.
Yes.
So Hake's auction ending next week, November 15th through the 16th. Here is a rundown of some of the items. When I say some, I mean some of the items that are available during the auction. If you are a fan or a collector or a fan/collector, right? Because those also exist.
Fan/collector.
This is actually the thing for you because there's an array of geeky memorabilia on top of political memorabilia as well. So check this out, and when we come back, I'll explain a little bit more.
Hake's Auctions is the premier source for all manner of Americana and collectibles, and auction number 236 is now open for bidding. Here are some of the amazing items that you can find over at hakes.com. Be sure to check out the full auction by visiting hakes.com. Closing dates for items in auction 236 are November 15th and 16th. Hakes, America's first collectibles auction house.
Actually, chat, help us out with something right now, because I'm vaguely remembering that Disney decided to no longer name Boba Fett's ship Slave One.
But I think it got blown up either at that episode that he showed up in of The Mandalorian or at the very beginning of Book of Boba Fett.
I think it was at the beginning of... Well, no, there's a whole bit in Book of Boba Fett where he gets his ship back.
But the ship's... No, maybe I'm thinking of Mandalorian ship blows up? The Crest...
Yeah, I think the Mandalorian ship blows up.
Can't remember the name of it.
I think his ship does. Yeah,
somebody's ship blows up.
Because then he goes... Because then, the Book of Boba Fett stops being the Book of Boba Fett, turns into the Mandalorian where he
show.
Gets the...
the
Darth
pod
racer. Well, the pod racer.
Oh.
The pod racer. And then he saves, I guess, Baby Yoda, I think, or something like that. I can't remember anymore. But yeah, let us know, because I swear I remember there was...
No, this did happen. This is in June of last year.
Yeah.
That they just were removing it. So
they took the name away.
Oh my God, give me a break.
Yeah, for instance, there was a Lego set that came out that was simply called Boba Fett's Starship.
Boba Fett ship.
Get out of here. You're not going to be able to retcon the 3 most impactful science fiction movies to ever happen. Why even waste your marketing budget on that?
It's goofy. Every now and then
was that an intentional pun?
What?
Goofy.
Oh well, yeah, that too.
Okay.
It is,
Okay.
I guess it is. Every now and then the whole there's too much political correctness thing gets one. And this is the one you guys get for sure, because it's just all right, guys. There's always some corporation overcorrecting too much, but whatever.
That is definitely an overcorrection.
That's an overcorrection. Yes. Anyway, back to Hakes.
Oh, that's right.
We were talking
sorry,
about
guys.
Hakes. I actually saw the Daredevil by David Mazzucchelli, which I actually didn't know he even did Daredevil.
Johnny, can you find that on the website? Because I was looking away when it flipped through.
I'm a complete idiot.
Never mind.
Complete idiot. Of course David Mazzucchelli did Daredevil. He did Born Again. I don't know why I just right over my head. Yes, that's completely accurate. He definitely did Born Again. But yeah, it's just cool that they have that artwork though, because that's kind of crazy. But yeah, the Hakes auction ends next week, right? November 15th through the 16th.
Yeah.
So many items that it takes 2 days to close out all the bidding.
That's crazy.
And I mentioned this before, they're doing video games this year.
Yeah.
Which is actually really interesting. I'm very curious how the grading process for video games. So yeah, this is 236, the auction 236. There will be more, of course, because they do these every couple months. And we will, of course, remind you. But November 15th through the 16th, get in those bids now because it's ending. There's a last chance to get some of these items. All right. Asinine arguments?
Yes.
All right. I have no idea what Ashton has cooked up for us, so let's find out. Asinine arguments time.
Okay, so we discussed Heelys earlier. They're an integral part of this asinine argument segment.
Okay.
So the question is, with no context and no sort of background information at all for why this is taking place, which is more chaotic, the Flash on Heelys or the Hulk with sock and boppers?
Wow. All right. Okay. All right. Just so we can get through this quickly, right? Because it's already kind of late in the show. I'm going to say more chaotic. The Hulk with sock and boppers, just because the Flash, eventually those Heelys are just going to burn up.
Dust.
They're just going to turn into dust, get evaporated into the Flash, the Speed Force, and then they're a done deal. I mean, although I don't think the Hulk with sock and boppers will fare much better.
I feel like it's just one good punch and you've just blown the entire thing off.
Yeah. And I think that's going to piss him off even more.
Yeah.
And then he's just going to go on a rampage. So that's my take. Is that your take too?
The Hulk with sock and boppers. I think the Flash with Heelys is hilarious.
It is hilarious.
Though.
It is absolutely hilarious. Johnny, you want to throw in here?
Oh yeah, definitely. I have some input on this, because the Flash and Heelys and trying to run, I just picture like an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon where like the Wile E. Coyote is trying to run on an oil slick and his legs just like just going like super fast. So that's what I pictured. So I kind of feel like that would be the more chaotic of the two.
Okay, fair enough. What we got here? You go ahead and decide, Johnny. Flashy with Heelys?
I'm going Flash with Heelys.
I feel like
Alright.
Flash on Heelys would double his speed.
I mean, potentially. All right.
54.3% are agreeing.
It's pretty
Close.
tough. Pretty close.
Gen B is saying the Flash with extra speed or Hulk with extra smash power can only begin to think how more chaotic both of them are. Scary thoughts.
Right.
And Luigi Han is saying, I've got to think that Flash on wheels is liable to accidentally
Facts.
launch himself into space.
That could go left.
That's right, actually. It reminds me very briefly of a Justice League comic where they had to power something. I can't remember what it was. And so I think it was Batman's great idea was like put Flash on a treadmill.
Stop, like literally put him on a hamster wheel.
Right, put him on a hamster wheel and just have him like, they were powering something. He was just going for it.
Batman.
Yeah.
Batman. That's the best Batman could come up
That's
with.
the best he could come up with. It was good though.
What?
Yeah, I forget what story that was. If you guys remember in the chat, let us know.
Well, I do know that they actually transferred some of that into the Flash TV show.
Oh, really? They put it on the show?
It was
They
like
put
the
him on-
cosmic treadmill or something like
The
that.
cosmic
cosmic
treadmill, that's what it is, yes.
Stop it right
Yes,
now.
that's what it is, the cosmic treadmill. Yeah, it's definitely a borrowed idea from the comics for sure. I mean, hey.
Batman's better than that.
He should do better than that. Do better, Batman, do better. Comic shop shout out. Who is this week's comic shop shout out?
This week's comic shop shout out is from Jonathan Friedman, and it goes to the Hall of Comics in Westboro, Massachusetts.
Okay, all right.
Giving them some love. So we'll show you some pictures inside of the Hall of Comics at the end of the show during the credits roll. You can check out that shop. If you want us to shout out your local comic book shop on the show, find us on social media, tag your shop. If they don't have a handle, just leave their name, and use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. We'll find your local comic book shop, shout them out on the show, and give them some love.
Cool. And here's your reminder to like, follow, and subscribe to Previews World and Free Comic Book Day. Give Free Comic Book Day some love. Ashton has not been quiet about the fact that Facebook kind of did us dirty last year. So we're trying to get those numbers up, help us out. And also it's Free Comic Book Day, so you want to know what's going on.
You want free comics?
Especially in the next couple months because you're about to get some a dump of info coming your way. in terms of
Yeah,
that CBD.
really. We're announcing the books next week, so if you don't follow us already, make sure you follow us on Free Comic Book Day, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, because that's going to be the first place you're going to see it.
Yeah, and the handles are a little bit different. I do want to point that out just in terms of the learning curve, I guess I want to call it.
I did realize I was poking around recently. We have enough followers now that if you just type in Free Comic Book Day,
It'll show up.
It'll come up.
All right, good. It'll be like the first thing.
Yeah.
All right, cool, awesome. Also, speaking of following us, liking and following us, right? If you go to PREVIEWsworld.com right now, you'll see some cool things. Number one being The Exile, which is a new series from Living the Line. I did an interview with the creator. This is interesting because it's like a Viking story, and it's a kind of
like
promises
Vikings.
to be not to confuse people, but it's promising to be kind of a Western meets family drama.
Okay.
And so the writer, artist, first of all, the artwork is phenomenal. I want to point that out. It's very cool. Like, it's just a very awesome style of artwork. But on top of that, he kind of explains that this kind of is a story that runs throughout history. And so it's about one family, and then, of course, the Viking at the head of this family. And this is coming out from Living the Line. Yeah, just cool, very interesting, very dramatic, too, which is also really nice. And that's coming out in February, I'm sorry, from Living the Line. It's available to pre-order right now, but you can find out more about the book by reading that interview on PREVIEWsworld.com. Also, the holiday gift guide. I got to point this out.
Oh, Jemima.
The holiday gift guide is available now on our website as well. It, of course, is a bunch of items that are available at your local comic shop now or are orderable at your local comic shop now. And this includes a little bit of everything. Number one on my list is to finally go back and get that Jack Kirby designed glow-in-the-dark Galactus.
Oh, the pop.
The Funko Pop, because that is something that I missed out on. And like an idiot, I ordered it for my friends. I ordered it for like
Why did you wait?
I ordered it for like 2 or 3 people and didn't order one for myself.
I mean, you're a great friend for doing that. But
I mean, I think I should get friend points for that. But like, yeah, it's that's available right now. In addition to a bunch of cool Omnibuy
Omnibuy.
Well,
Yeah.
is that omnibus plural? Right?
Omnibuy. Yeah, I'm on board with Omnibuy.
I'm going down with. I'm gonna go say Omnibuy. That's my thing. Also, just some cool stuff from DST, Funko, Beast Kingdom on top of that, Kotobukiya, just all sorts of stuff. I know the knee-jerk thing to do for Christmas, right, is to go to the mall and do the shopping. That sucks.
It's not fun.
It's not fun.
It's stressful.
It's very stressful, and especially with COVID, you don't want to do all that. You just don't want to do that.
Unless your local comic shop is in a mall.
Unless your local comic shop is in a mall.
Johnny with the angles.
You know what? Thank you, Johnny. You know what? I almost walked myself into a corner, and Johnny saved me. Right?
Thank you, Johnny.
But yes, my point being that you can go to your local comic shop and get a bunch of really cool stuff. Everyone's a nerd nowadays. Everybody,
That's
right?
facts.
So there is something in your local comic shop that is perfect for someone in your family, or a friend, or a loved one, or maybe not so loved one, but somebody you got to buy stuff for just because you know them and they expect gifts.
An
That happens too. It's
obligation.
an obligation. Secret Santa, go to a comic shop.
Get him a Funko Pop.
Get a Funko Pop.
Everyone loves Funko Pops.
Everybody loves Funko Pop. Nobody dislikes Funko Pops. So yeah, check that out. That's on the website as well, PREVIEWsworld.com. And
There is one more thing.
what's one more thing?
One more thing I think that we generally forget to say on the show is, in addition to following us, liking us online, if you're watching this on YouTube, just make sure you do that little like button down at the bottom.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, just
Should we, yeah,
like
let's-
the video. Don't just don't just like us. We want you to like us and follow us, but
Right.
be sure to like the button, because that will help us to be seen more in terms of like the algorithm which we're trying to break into,
Yeah.
or just break.
Or break. Yeah. I mean,
Break.
or just break us. No, and also actually I would say the notification bell, right? That's also
Smash the subscribe button.
Smash
Ring
the
the
subscribe
bell.
button, ring that bell, smash that subscribe button, and be sure to come back next week. Yeah, we don't do that because we don't want to be obnoxious. But the reality is that YouTube hates all of us. Everybody who makes
Facts.
content, everybody who makes content that isn't doing oh god, what is it? Not Collider. I can't think. It is Collider that does those awful Collider videos about nerd stuff.
I do unfortunately know
You know
exactly,
exactly what I'm talking about,
do.
right?
It's
The
rather
rest of us
unfortunate.
have to suffer, right?
Right.
So do us a favor and definitely hit the notification button. Definitely subscribe. Definitely like us. I know it's a lot of work for your fingers, but it'll take like 3 seconds.
It's worth it.
It's worth it because you
We're
can see us
fun.
every week, and you get to see some other cool content. We got some really cool interviews coming up down the line. Some legends are going to sit down and talk with me, and that's going to be a lot of fun and worth the
We got
price
to
of
talk to
admission.
Frank Miller.
I did. I got to talk to Frank Miller for an hour, and it was nuts.
It sounded like it was off the rails.
It was wonderfully chaotic, and I loved it. And then some. So yeah, definitely keep tuned to PREVIEWsworld.com or follow us on social media. And that is it.
Farewell.
Nope.
Farewell comments.
Farewell comments.
Woo.
Annie Fox saying bye for now. Love you guys.
Oh, see you, Annie.
Bye,
And
Annie.
Ubaldo saying next comics.
Comics.
Facts.
All right, do your local
Go
shop.
straight to your store after this.
Absolutely. And that's it.
Okay, great.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us for PREVIEWsworld Weekly. I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen,
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood.
and we'll see you all at the spinny rack, that little spinny rack in the back of the house. There you go. Check it out. Have fun.
Bye.
Don't forget that you can catch Previews World Weekly streaming live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific at Previews World on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.